Hi everyone, this is Module 9, Lesson 8, and we are going to talk today about summarizing. Today's reading focus is going to be on the main idea and details. So we're going to talk about what is the main idea of the text, what key details support the main idea, and then we're going to use those to summarize the text. Our learning target today is I know the main idea and key details. So first of all, a summary is a short retelling of a longer piece, could be a book or a movie or an article, and you retell it in your own words. When you write a summary, you want to try to answer the who, what, when, where, why, and how of the piece, and then provide a topic sentence to tell the reader the main idea. So in order to actually write a summary, we first have to figure out the main idea and the key details that support it. And you're probably thinking, but how do I do that? I am going to show you a quick and easy way. The first thing we have to do is identify the topic, and then we have to identify what the author is telling us about the topic. And then we have to identify the details that support or explain what the author is saying about the topic. So let's look at an example. I'm going to read this article to you, and the title is Potato Chips. The potato chip was an invention that accidentally happened. George Crumb was a chef trying to please a customer who kept sending his French fries back to the kitchen with the complaint that he wanted them crispier and thinner. Crumb kept slicing potatoes and cooking them until they became the crispy potato chip we know today. So remember, we're looking for the topic, the author's claim, and the details that support it. And for this little article, the topic is potato chips. The author's claim is that potato chips were invented by accident. And the details that support that are that George Crumb was a chef who was trying to please a customer, and that he kept slicing potatoes and cooking them until they turned into chips. So for this article, the main idea would be that potato chips were invented by accident. And now I'm going to show you how to turn this main idea along with the details into a summary. So the strategy that we're going to use to create a summary is called the Tamio strategy. The T in Tamio stands for the text type. So you are going to figure out what type of text you read. It could be an article, a newspaper, an excerpt, a passage, and so on. The first A stands for the author. If you don't know the author's name, you can just say the author. The second A stands for the action of the text. So you have to figure out what the text is trying to do. Is it explaining? Is it describing, arguing, telling, teaching, etc.? The M stands for the main idea. So we just went over how to find the main idea of the text. The I stands for important or key details. And these are the details that support the main idea or explain it a little further. And the O stands for the organization. So when you are writing a summary, you want to follow the organization of the text, which means that if you're taking evidence from the beginning of the text, then that should be towards the beginning of your summary. And you also want to think about including relevant transition words that are sort of like cue words for the type of text that you are using. So we're going to use this graphic organizer to put all of our information together, and then I'm going to show you how to turn it into a summary. So we'll start off with the type of text. Our potato chip article was an article, so I'm going to put article and the title, potato chips. The author, I don't know who the author was, so I'm just going to write the author. The action is that explains. The author was explaining our main idea, which is that potato chips were invented by accident. And now I'm going to add my important or key details, but I already found those. So I'm just going to plop them in here. The first one is that George Crumb was a chef trying to please a customer, and that he kept slicing and cooking potatoes until they turned into chips. Now I'm going to put the text structure. So if you think back to our lesson on the type of text structures, this is a descriptive text in that it is giving us a description of how these potato chips were invented. And for the transition words in a descriptive text, I am going to use as a result. And now I'm just going to go in order, the same way I filled in the organizer, and take all of those facts and turn them into a summary. And my summary would look like this. In the article, Potato Chips, the author explains how potato chips were invented by accident. George Crumb was a chef who was trying to please a customer who sent his food back multiple times. Now, notice that I added a little bit more information to that sentence because while I was writing my summary, I felt like I needed a little bit deeper of an explanation of what the George Crumb was doing to please his customer. Crumb kept slicing and cooking the potatoes, and as a result, there's my transition word, they turned into chips. And that is all. That is how you can write a summary of a nonfiction text. Here's a checklist for you to make sure when you are writing your summary. A good summary is always going to be shorter than the original text. You don't want to retell every single line. It includes only the important information, the main idea and key details. It avoids unimportant information. It avoids repeated information. So try not to say the same thing over and over again. You do not include an opinion in a summary. You're writing it in the third person, so you're never going to say I or me or I think or I don't think. You want to follow the text structure of the original text. So if it was a cause and effects text, then you would follow that type of structure in your summary and so on. And lastly, it should be written in your own words. That is all for summaries. I hope that was helpful. I will include the graphic organizer and the checklist for you in the lesson. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you soon.